You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 72. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
I'm Jeff Barnhart, his proletarian sidekick. Hey, exceptional man. You think we ought to trust this dude, Dr. Satan?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Before we get started today, I have a big announcement about this show. It's really great. We are now on iTunes and Stitcher, which are the easy, like everybody looks for those places for podcasts place. So I don't have to work so hard to try and build the audience to this show. So yay. And I can just say it's on iTunes. You can just look it up. So That's a lot easier. Yay. So starting off today, we're going to start with Marvel Superheroes number 31. And the lead story is Alone Against the Underworld from Daredevil number 19, written by Stan Lee, with art by John Romita and inked by Frank Giacoia.
Oh, Foggy pretends to be Daredevil, and I thought, you got my attention. That's a great conundrum.
And why does he pretend to be Daredevil?
To impress a girl.
To impress Secretary Karen Page.
Yeah, I think most of our civilization is based on impressing a girl.
Yeah. The pyramids, everything.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see, Gladiator's involved.
Yes.
He got knocked out, or he got put in prison by Double D, and...
Are you going to keep calling him Double D? I think that's...
I play WoW, and one of our guild mates, a guild leader, is Double D, and I have no idea.
I think if you say, I always thought if it's DD, it's written, Daredevil is written as just DD, it's DD, not Double D, because Double D, I think of mammary glands.
Oh, okay.
Overlord.
Why would you think that?
I don't know. I know, terrible.
All right, DD then.
But yeah, Daredevil
Mm-hmm.
put the Gladiator away, and doesn't he get busted out by the Masked Marauder?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Although, again, the Masked Marauder is one of those, like, what a lazily named villain.
Yeah.
Like, he's a bad guy, and he wears a mask. You know, like,
okay.
But he's actually...
I don't know what else you could say.
Right, he's a pretty cool villain, actually.
Yeah, and it's an interesting way they get him out. They have people portrayed as reporters. The only problem with that is police stations probably know every reporter in the city.
I don't know.
A whole bunch of them come in, they don't know any of them.
But then again, you know, does every reporter know every cop?
No.
Well, and there's probably, in a big city with several major newspapers, you probably don't know every reporter.
But most they have beats.
Sure.
And they have people on the crime beat. There's only probably New York City at the heyday of newspapers. There couldn't have been more than a dozen.
Okay.
So.
Well, let me say this. I can go with your argument, and also can say, well, a police station, you're going to get all kinds of new faces coming in there all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to remember every single guy. Oh, sure, they got press passes. Okay, cool, whatever. So, yeah, these crooks disguised as reporters come in. They want to get photos of the Gladiator, and they bust him out of jail.
They could have just done this easily by just putting real reporters, meeting them and with their fake reporters, and then that would have solved the problem.
Right.
Because they would have had, the other reporters, just tell the real reporters, hey, we're from next town over. Something.
It's still a pretty bold move, because you still have all those cops there.
Yeah, it is. Pretty clever. And with my little caveat there, but it's pretty nice. Man, the Gladiator is hard to get along with.
Yeah. Well, the Masked Marauder is not exactly a nice, easygoing guy either.
No, he's even more of a jerk. He's probably the biggest jerk in the world. Dee Dee goes visits Foggy and they have a discussion with a problem. And when he's leaving, he breaks Foggy's window. I said, what's up with that? And, that's kind of uncool. I know you got superpowers.
Like, hey, man, you broke my window?
Yeah, it's a pain to fix a window.
A pain, all right.
Pun unintended.
Pain in the pun region.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, the Masked Marauder busts a gladiator out, but then they start arguing and they fight right away.
Yeah, there's this huge fight. And so
because they don't want to decide like, no, I'm going to be the boss. No, I'm going to be the boss, and then they fight.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid, but it's actually really cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that this happens. Evil people fight against each other in real life, but it happens a little bit too much in comics sometimes.
Yeah, but it's fun, you know?
Yeah, it is.
The infighting, and it's, I mean, as much as like Marvel superheroes infight with each other, like the Fantastic Four and the Avengers, I mean, like super villains, anytime they get a super villain group, it's constant griping. Nothing ever goes smoothly. Or if it does, not for long, you know, so.
They send a bunch of guys to Foggy's big-time mobster killers.
Yeah, to Foggy's apartment to beat him up or whatever, because he's put out this whole thing making it look like he's Daredevil. But then the real Daredevil shows up and kicks their butts.
Yeah, pretty good fight, and Foggy helps too.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then they find out that they failed, and Masked Marauder and Gladiator get together.
Yeah, so
if they had come with them, they probably would have won, because Dee was having big time trouble.
Well, yeah, they just sent all the minions. It's like if they had the henchmen and these two guys, they definitely would have overpowered Daredevil.
Are good. They're good fighters.
Yeah,
they're just not as good as Dee.
Yeah.
Now we found out that Karen Page loves
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock.
Yay!
Poor Foggy.
Oh, he gets married later.
Yeah.
Of course, his wife was a real shrew, but, you know. And he's got cancer now, too. In current comics, yeah. I think he's, like, gonna die in, like, the next issue of Daredevil. Pretty sure.
Really? I've never been a big Foggy fan. He's okay sometimes. A lot of times he's irritating. I'm not sure.
I mean, sometimes supporting characters can be kind of like, you know. But you gotta have, your lead has to have somebody to talk to and somebody to, like, care about and somebody to get in danger. And sometimes it's the best friend, not just the damsel in distress, you know? Yeah. With Batman, you know, Alfred gets kidnapped sometimes, too. So.
Alfred's, I don't know, at least the wisecracking butler, I think it's fairly new.
Yeah.
And I like that. And he's pretty cool, really droll.
Mm-hmm.
What is a movie with Arthur?
Oh.
He's based on that.
Oh, it's Sir John Gielgud.
Yeah.
Man, I loved that, but the original Arthur. With Dudley Moore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was an abomination.
I didn't see the remake. I'm like, why would you remake that? It's such a wonderful movie.
Just saw RoboCop, which is very comic book-ish.
You just saw it?
We just bought the Blu-ray and saw it again.
I
saw it in theater. No, the old one.
The old one. Oh, okay.
And it's great. And another movie that does not need to be remade.
Yeah. I think I am going to go see the remake this week.
I hear it has none of the humor. It's kind of...
Well, I'll give it a shot. I've got a couple free passes to the movies, so I'll just go.
So you don't spend $20 on it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the original RoboCop is one of my favorite movies ever.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Oh, we got a Iron Man with the monstrous menace of the mysterious melter.
That's right, from Tales of Suspense number 89. Written by Stan Lee, with art by Gene Colan, and inked by Frank Giacoia. First of all, I love the Melter, and again, he's like the most obviously named or lazily named villain. Oh, he's the Melter. He melts stuff.
Yeah,
but
done something. Lava Man or Magma Man or something.
Yeah. Well, you would think that would have to do with like actual volcanoes or something.
Yeah, but see, I just thought of that in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not paid to think of names.
Right.
Could be Melto, the Magnificent.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good.
I have my moments.
But I love Gene Colan drawing this. It's great. Gentleman Gene is wonderful. And other than Kirby, he's maybe the best artist for fight scenes and action. He's just really great.
Yeah, we see Tony Stark. He's Iron Man, by the way.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that. I forgot.
They show there's a page of him driving fast cars with beautiful women, several of them, and he's, how sad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he's sad because he feels like he could never be with Pepper because of his heart condition. So he's trying to not be with her and push kind of her into the arms of Happy Hogan. So
Well, we're all mortal,
yeah,
and you can just tell the girl you're going to die any minute.
yeah,
And if she says okay, then it should be good to go.
yeah.
And you're gonna die sometime. We might die from Mount Tabor, which is
right.
It's a volcano. It might blow up.
Well, yeah. It's like we are not promised another day.
Exactly.
So.
But I can see his point. But I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Tony, marry the gal.
But it's a great dramatic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Well, the melter makes his melting gun in prison. Man.
Yeah, they stole parts from the machine shop and he made a miniature version of his melting gun. And so he busts out of prison and backstabs the guy that helped him. And then he goes to Stark's factory because he wants to make an even bigger melting gun and destroy Iron Man.
Yeah, and Iron Man's afraid of him. He literally is afraid of him.
Well, because the melting stuff can melt the armor. He is particularly vulnerable to attacks from the melter.
But you would think that, I'm not a genius billionaire, but I would make I would make an asbestos-lined Iron Man suit. Or put
Well, yeah, that's going to make it fireproof, but he can melt the actual suit itself. You mean lined on the outside?
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
but asbestos
is a poncho made out of asbestos.
Okay.
There's ways around this.
Okay.
I would think.
I can dig it. Okay.
I mean, he's a guy in a robot.
Yeah.
In a robot suit or iron suit. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
They got one of these. This is broken up into two parts, and they got a story they stuck in between. Well, let's talk about it for a sec. We have it's called Robot on the Rampage from Tales to Astonish, number 18, and no credit on the writing, but art by Sturdy Steve Ditko, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I wonder if it's based on a actual short story or something. It has that feel to it. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. This lighthouse keeper is living with a robot, and the robot wants to take over.
Yeah.
And destroy these ships by turning off the lighthouse. So the lighthouse keeper gets him outside, and the robot waits him out to starve him to death.
Yeah.
And it seems like it takes a couple hours. I mean, you can go without food for weeks.
I think the elapsed time that it did was over several days or whatever. That
the
siege.
Maybe I didn't.
I got that in having read the story, so
maybe I'm wrong.
In this time,
So as the long hours pass.
Yeah.
It should be days.
Okay. So anyway, days do pass, okay? And the old lighthouse keeper is trapped in the lighthouse when the robot's standing vigil outside, thinking.
Sitting vigil.
Yeah, thinking
and this is important.
Yes, and thinking evil things like, ha, he's gonna die, and then I'm gonna kill all the people.
Yeah. How he easily outwitted the human.
Yes, but the salty sea air, while he's chilling there for days, rusted him solid, and so the lighthouse keeper was able to escape, and nobody died.
You're right. Yeah, I see. It does say for days. Oh, he don't have a refrigerator inside the lighthouse.
We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but so he was saved by salt.
Yeah.
There's kind of religious ending too. That while you were made by man, man was made by God. So
yay!
Yeah, man wins.
So, but yeah, the second part of our Melter saga is what's it called?
The Golden Ghost.
That's right. And this is from Tales of Suspense number 90, written again by Stan Lee with art by Gene Colan and Frank Giacoia.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Melter is holding Tony Stark hostage in his own factory. So you're going to make me a better melting gun, mister. Mm-hmm. He doesn't realize that Stark is Iron Man. And so Stark finds a way to... What, does he get the drop on him, or what happens?
What happens? Okay, it's been a while since I've read this.
Me too. We haven't recorded in a couple weeks, so...
Indeed.
Anyway.
Oh! Okay. He zaps him with the gun. The Melter zaps Tony with a gun, but it's set on human flesh.
Okay.
It's set, but Tony is wearing his Iron Man chest piece.
Under his suit. Right. Under his business suit. And so he's safe, he's fine, and the Melter leaves him for dead and bails, and then when he leaves, he can go after him as Iron Man?
Right.
That's right. Okay, cool. And then they fight.
Yeah, a bunch of cops, and Melter just melts them away. And a couple of
Tony's girlfriends.
And they're all catty with each other.
Uh-huh, of course.
Iron Man gets into his old school suit.
Yeah, his old golden costume, yeah. And pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think that they have a little bit in how he made his new suit.
I think that's in another issue, which we'll talk about today.
Oh, you're right.
So, we'll just carry on with this.
Yeah, mine's pretty cool. It's pretty, the Melter gets, his gun malfunctions because Tony made sure it would.
Right. And then, as in the old Iron Man suit, he's able to overpower him.
Right.
Yeah. Groovy. Cool.
Well, let's hope next time they keep Melter away from his melting guns.
Yeah. So the next book we've got to talk about is Marvel Tales #1, and the lead story is reprinted from Amazing Fantasy #15, and it's the origin story of this obscure character called Spider-Man.
Spider who?
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. He's got this web suit. It looks like he's pajamas. But anyway, it's written by Stan Lee with art by Steve Ditko.
And who are they?
Oh, you.
I was amazed how crudely drawn it is.
Yeah.
At the very beginning. I mean, it's definitely Silver Age looking.
It's not Ditko's top stuff. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Who's the blonde girl?
Liz Allen.
Yeah, she's mean.
Is she?
Well, kind of.
Oh, she changes her tune pretty quickly, I think, though. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall.
Yeah. So this guy, what's his name? Peter Parker?
Yeah. I think that's right.
He's some kind of super nerd.
Yeah.
No superpower, just super nerdy.
Okay.
And he goes to... They're bringing high school kids, in the comics they bring high school kids into top secret labs all the time, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a spider gets between these two electrodes and becomes irradiated. And, of course, high school students love radiation.
Yeah, it's the coolest.
Yes. Oh, so, supposedly, he gets bit by a spider and gets these mysterious powers.
Okay, so the radiation is transferred into the spider, and then when the spider bites Peter Parker, is that right?
Right.
He gets spider-like powers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. It's coming back to me now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, so... He can jump and climb buildings.
And kind of, he's warned of danger, right, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goes and fights with Crusher Hogan.
Yeah, to try and make some money.
Mm-hmm. And he does okay.
Yeah, so these fight promoters, they want to, put him on TV and stuff. And so Parker thinks, hey, this is pretty boss having these powers. Nobody's going to push me around anymore.
Right. So then he makes web shooters. Which, why, if he knew how to do this already, why hasn't he done it all, before?
Well, I think it's like, well, a spider's got to come up with a web, so this kid then goes and gets the idea to come up with it.
Yeah, but if he can invent this super web, okay, he can invent all kinds of stuff.
You know, look, it sometimes there's something in your life has to be the impetus for creative idea or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it took getting superpowers to realize, like, hey, I got these powers, but not a web power, so I need to make one up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to see why this never went anywhere.
So anyway, he becomes Mr. Big Shot, and somebody rips off the payroll of the television program or whatever that he's at,
Mm-hmm.
and he lets the crook go right by him. He's like, shh, that's not my job.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes home and finds Uncle Ben. His uncle has been shot to death. And so he says he's going to spring into action as Spider-Man and catch the guy. And he tracks him down, and lo and behold, it's the crook he let it escape.
Yeah, that's like a coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite a coincidence. And so he's going to, cry like a girl at the end and realize how wrong he is and realize he's got to use his powers for unselfish reasons.
Yeah. With great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Boy, that's got a nice ring to it. I wonder if that would ever catch on.
I don't know. It should be if you see a criminal wallop him. That's the real moral story.
All kidding aside, there you go. There's the origin of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
that's pretty. You ever seen The Onion? They do the newspapers from dumb century. Peter Parker is a local student killed by pipe from radioactive spider, and we're going to get the Hulk and Bruce Banner killed in gamma bomb detonation.
So yes, let's move on. Let's talk about the Hulk. We have a reprint from The Incredible Hulk #1, written by Stan Lee, with art by Jack Kirby and inked by Paul Reinman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, General Ross is a jerk at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, and his daughter likes Bruce Banner at the very beginning.
Even though he's a bookworm geek.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Peter Parker, only a grown-up.
Very good.
And
yes,
wimpy.
He is.
And continually wimpy. Like Banner stays a wimp. But...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because they have...
gets angry.
Because it's not so much a secret... Well, I mean, the identity is a secret identity, but... he becomes somebody else, It's not like Spider-Man. He's got his powers all the time, and he just hides them.
Right.
But the Hulk, I'm normal, wimpy old me until somebody makes me mad.
It's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, but in this first outing, he turns into the Hulk at night. When night falls, he becomes the Hulk.
Oh, okay.
But that changes. They change a lot of that crap pretty rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
But
he speaks more.
Well, wait. How did he become the Hulk? Let's back up.
Oh, well, they're testing this G-bomb.
Yeah, the gamma bomb.
And he has a rival scientist. And well, this is nonsense because the security on something like this is so strict. And,
right. He's a mole for the commies.
Well, yeah.
I think, yeah.
Well, is he, or is this a big jerk?
Is he a mole for the commies, or is he a traitor to America? He was just going to betray America and sell the Soviets the secret of the gamma bomb.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But anyway, they're going to test the bomb, and there's a kid out on the test field. And Banner says, "Hold it off! I got to get this kid out of there." And Ivan, yeah, I think that's his name, presses the button and nukes Banner, but he doesn't die. He pushes Rick Jones into the ditch, so he's safe, but Banner absorbs the bomb instead of getting vaporized.
Mm.
And then when night falls, he turns into the Hulk.
Yeah.
And goes on a rampage, smashing stuff. This is an abbreviated version of that origin, because we don't get the full story of him fighting the army and stuff, but still pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it ended kind of quick.
Yeah, these are kind of abbreviated, but or abridged. But next we've got where the heck am I? Oh, Return of the Ant-Man from Tales to Astonish #35.
There's a movie coming about Ant-Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, all superheroes are kind of silly if you think about them.
Sure.
And Ant-Man seems sillier than most.
Well, you just think about the concept of him, and he sounds kind of stupid, but then you actually read stories with him, and he's pretty cool.
No,
because shrinking and look at these big old bugs and like doing stuff. That's a great trope of science fiction. People enjoy that. People who read or like to watch science fiction visually or reading wise, that's very appealing. So
everybody deals with bugs. We see them, we wonder about them. What's going on, people?
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's kind of like doing the Atom, but there's also this other thing like he controls the insects. That's cool. So anyway, yeah, Stan Lee wrote this, and Jack Kirby and Don Heck did the art. But this is cool. Remember, we did the Man in the Anthill, where Henry Pym discovered the shrinking, and then and he had his adventure with the ants, and he said, "Oh, I'll never do that again." Well, he changed his mind, because now he's perfected the shrinking formula, and now he's got his cybernetic helmet where he can communicate and control insects. And so he goes and he's hanging out with these ants, and then something happens, and they go on an adventure. What happens?
Let's see.
Does he get wind of like a robbery or something?
He's in some kind of scientific community,
like a think tank or something.
Yeah, and these people come in, and who are they?
Are they commies?
I bet so. They probably are. Anything bad happens in the last 50 years is due to commies. Or hippies. So it goes around saving them. Well,
saving the commies? What?
No, saving his fellow scientists.
Oh, right.
I mean, he fights this big beetle. So
that's pretty cool. And he 6 ants on these commie spies, it's pretty great.
He plugs up their guns with honey. The ants bring in a bunch of honey, although
I don't think ants have honey. So that's right. I thought that was crap, but
yeah.
But whatever.
Yes, they probably make something, and no one who reads comic books will know what the devil it is. So make some. I'm sure they make some kind of food.
Yeah, I guess.
So
whatever. They jam up their guns and they bite their shoes and whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. And we get a brief, after that story, yay, the scientists are saved and the commies are defeated. We get a brief snippet from, what is it, Tales to Astonish number
49.
Number 49, and it's the birth of Giant Man. So when Ant-Man decides being little is lame, and so he's going to become a giant. And so we just get a 2-page spread, just kind of like learning about him, learning about growing or whatever.
Yeah, and what size he thinks is perfect. And the rest we know is history.
Yes. So, breezing right along.
Yes.
We've got Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos from Sergeant Fury #1. And it's written by Stan Lee with art by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. A lot of Kirby. So what's going on with old Nick Fury? Hey, he still has both eyes. This is back in WW2.
Right.
So him and Dum Dum and Gabriel and all these other cats, they are fighting Nazis.
Yep. Oh, let's see. We see some member of the Resistance sending in a signal to the Allies.
Yeah.
And then the Nazis come in and start shooting up things.
Okay.
So now Sergeant Fury has to get his guys to go to Europe, and the guy, the Howling Commandos, are at the machine gun. They're crawling underneath machine gun fire.
Yeah.
Which I never did in the army. And
right.
Probably too many things.
Well, you didn't see combat.
Oh no, but this used to be a standard fare, whether it was combat or not. So.
Okay. So wait, they didn't have you do that in any of your training or exercises?
No.
Huh.
We got ridden over by a tank, which was very interesting. It seemed like we was in this concrete trench and foxhole, and we just dove down, and the tank would come over us, and we pretend to shoot it in the butt with the
Right.
anti-tank weapon, and the shaking of the ground, and then when the tank goes over here, it goes, the shadow, and it seems like it lasts forever. But it's going about 30 miles an hour. So it
Interesting.
was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah. That's sort of the things that, when we talk about war comics, I would love to hear you kind of bring some of your, talk about your military experience.
Okay.
So I know you didn't, like, fight in a war, but
Yeah,
still,
they knew better.
You knew better, that's right.
They knew not to start anything when I was in there.
But, so yeah, Fury and the Howlers, they're fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Man, Junior looks like a blonde Asian caricature. With
Yeah,
the buck teeth and all that stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, if he had black hair, you would think he's Chop Chop or whatever.
Man, I do enjoy Chop Chop, even though he's awful in how racist he is. But anyway, his characterization.
Yeah, he gets killed by somebody.
Who does?
Junior.
Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And they're really mad about it.
So they're gonna get vengeance on the Nazis.
Yeah, but he doesn't get killed in this one. I never read the one he gets killed in.
Who, Junior?
Yeah.
Oh, you just knew about it?
Yeah. Now, they mentioned it in the later ones. So
I don't. Oh, that's right. You've read a lot more Sergeant Fury than I have.
Mm-hmm.
So you will have to be the expert on this one.
Oddly, the fighter planes look different, and they show pictures of them. Actually, look like the MiG-5s, and then they look like Messerschmitts. So I don't know.
Wow.
One of the impossible things that the Howling Commandos do, they do all kinds of stuff that would not work in a war. Throwing a grenade in an airplane going a couple hundred miles an hour will not work.
Right.
There's a small chance that's 1,000,000 to 1.
Right.
Nice bullpen pictures of everybody.
Yeah, there's a 2-page spread in this comic of quite a few of the people who worked at the Marvel bullpen. Let's see who we got here.
Oh, we got Kirby and Stan Lee, Martin Goodman, Johnny Hayes, Chick Stone, Artie Simek, is it?
Simic, I don't know.
Dick Ayers.
Yeah. There's Stan Goldberg, who actually went and did quite a bit of work over at Archie Comics as well. Stan Goldberg also worked on Millie the Model at Marvel.
Oh.
There's all these great guys.
Don Heck.
Yeah, all these guys like Al Hartley and Saul Brodsky, and I think I want to say Vince Colletta, who was one of the most reviled inkers in comics.
Really?
Unfairly, but yes, I feel. But can I take a look at this? Let's see who else we've got here. There's of course, Larry Lieber, who is Stan Lee's brother.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Joe Orlando, who used to be from EC Comics, and did a lot of science fiction stuff, and he went over to DC as well. And we got Paul Ryman, who we've seen a lot. Sam Rosen, Chick Stone, and of course, the lovely Flo Steinberg, who was Stan's secretary for years and years. Really a lovely lady, and I've seen interviews with her, and she's just a doll.
Cool.
So yes, moving on, we've got we've got the origin of Iron Man. Iron Man is Born, from Tales of Suspense number 39, written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Don Heck.
Yeah. All right, the commies are at it again in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's weird. I thought it was that he was in Korea, but I guess it's not. Yeah. So anyway.
I knew that before. I mean, I've read it a long time ago.
It's been a while, so for me. So.
Yeah, same difference. They're both bifurcated, north, south, and run by commies. So
yeah, okay.
Okay. For some reason, the Pentagon thinks it's a good idea to send this billionaire genius inventor to Vietnam jungles. Oh, yeah.
So what's the name of this Vietnamese tyrant here, like Lo Pan or something?
No, what is his name?
Kung Fao, Ching Lang,
Wong Chu.
Wong Chu, yeah.
Yeah, and he's really mean and evil.
Yeah, and so he captures Tony Stark, and he's mean to old people, and he's a jerk.
Yeah, Tony Stark realizes that his heart. Oh, he's got this friendly um, Vietnamese guy who's a doctor. It's your heart's bad, so he's got to build a help.
Yeah,
his
when
heart.
they captured Tony, he was wounded. Oh yeah, that's
Right.
important. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so that he's gonna, instead of building a super weapon for like Feng Chao or whatever, he's gonna make a suit of iron to escape. And the commies kill the nice old man that was helping Tony Stark, and then Tony, as Iron Man, goes and gets revenge, and he blows up the commies. He kills these guys.
Yeah.
You don't usually see the hero kill people, but
Yeah.
in this story, they get it. But nobody cares. Nobody cares because they're commies.
And they're at war. That's
Yeah.
the thing about war comics. You're supposed to kill the enemy.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, and then we get a nice little excerpt from Tales of Suspense number 48 to how Iron Man created his newer, thinner armor.
Yeah. I like his newer armor. The other one was so bulky and.
Yeah, but I mean, making it in a cave and stuff, that makes sense that the other one was kind of clunky.
Well, that's the second. That's the first one. The first one was gray. Then the second one was yellow or golden color.
Well,
and now we have
the golden one was he
red.
just painted the original one gold.
Is that what he did?
Yeah,
Are you
because he had a
serious?
few adventures and people were like, he's scary, and then so he, as a PR move, he painted himself gold, and then he was the Golden Avenger.
I'll be darned.
And then he kind of changed it to the golden red that we tend to think of. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you learn something new every day.
Yay! So this issue has been packed full of origins, and we've got one more to round off just the issue. It's Thor the Mighty and the Stone Men of Saturn from Journey into Mystery number 83.
Yeah.
Written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Jack Kirby and Joe Sinnott. Well, yeah. Got Dr. Don Blake, lame physician. He's on vacation in Norway and finds a walking stick.
Yeah.
While he's trapped in a cave, and I'll let you.
It's interesting. Yeah, man, he hits it, and all of a sudden, it's a hammer, or you can lift it up, and he knocks it in. And gets his hammer of Thor.
Yeah.
And it's ironic, but you don't meet Thor in this episode. Thor is the Thor we know, vast.
Yeah.
This will not stand. Or
the Thor, all the these and thous and thines.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk in that language.
And he's not here. This guy is Blake.
It's
as
just
Thor. I mean,
it's Blake as Thor. You're right, and it's the transference to being like fully Thor seems to happen pretty gradually. We're gonna be taking a look at a lot of these early Thor stories, and he doesn't talk in that flowery language and stuff, and it's more like he's Don Blake who becomes Thor. It's not like he trades places with him or whatever. It's really kind of vague. And it's like they didn't have the idea fully fleshed out before they came up with him. But anyway, Blake as Thor fights the Stone Men of Saturn who are invading the Earth, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is neat. Okay,
It's a good fight.
Yeah.
They look like Ben Grimm with like Easter Island heads.
Very good. That's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
And the amusing thing is that they misspell Thor in the last
panel. Yeah, like this was very rushed. I feel, but
comics are kind of rushed. I guess the art of somebody drawing a painting or making a sculpture is not rushed.
Yeah.
But movies and comic books is that.
Yeah.
Time is money, and
sure. And I think some of the earliest material of a given character or whatever is kind of rough, and they refine it over time, and you'll just find that, and then it'll kind of peak and like get crappy. But and it just kind of there's an ebb and flow with these kinds of things. But anyway, moving along, we've got Marvel Tales number 5, and the lead story is reprinted from Amazing Spider-Man number 8, and it's The Living Brain, written by Stan Lee, with art by Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
This one is I don't like the living brain so much, but I like everything else that happens in this story. It's all the Peter Parker high school drama with Flash and Liz, and it's cool.
I don't like the living brains. Excuse me. He's got piano?
It's a robot with piano legs. You're right.
Yeah, and it's got a ball with
for arms.
No, it's a ball.
Like ball socket like wheel. Yeah. What can you do? What can you do?
Indeed. And the guy's real proud of it too. they show a close up.
Yeah, this inventor comes to Midtown High to show off his cool invention.
Mm-hmm.
Flash Thompson's being a jerk and breaks Peter's glasses, which he doesn't actually need anymore. So,
man, I want to be bit by a radioactive spider just for that.
Yeah.
And get rid of my glasses. You're right. Liz Allen gets to be nicer.
Yeah.
And Flash gets to be nicer and
over time.
Yeah.
Over time.
A long time.
But he's a jerk. He becomes cool once he gets back from Vietnam. He's not a jerk. He becomes friends with Peter at that point, I think.
Yeah. So they get in a fight, and one of the teachers says, "Well, you want to go to fight it out with boxing gloves."
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Peter, he really wants to bash Flash,
but he knows he could take his head off if he really uses powers. So
and he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want anyone to know Peter Parker is super strong.
Yeah. So there's a point in the fight where Flash kind of looks away for a sec, and then Peter wallops him one and knocks him straight out of the ring. And everybody thinks Peter's a jerk for taking such a cheap shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And Flash is really embarrassed.
It's kind of a Popeye moment, punching somebody out of the ring. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the living brain. Go ahead.
These two workers, which is kind of sad. Blue collar people get short shrift in art.
I want to interrupt you because there is an important plot point that we're skipping. The living brain, the students. The scientist who created it says, "Oh, it can answer any question if you give it enough data."
Oh, yeah.
And the students are like, "What's the real identity of Spider-Man?"
Yeah.
And so Living Brain gets to work on it and comes out with an answer, and they give the sheet of paper to Peter to decode.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And so he's like, "Oh crap, what am I gonna do? I got to come up with something, by tomorrow." And then all this stuff happens.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So these two roughnecks decide to steal it, and they mess around with it, and they turn it on, and it goes crazy.
Yeah, and so the robot is on a rampage, and somebody's got to stop it from wrecking the school or whatever. Okay, so that's kind of corny.
Mm-hmm.
But Spider-Man shows up while Flash Thompson's out cold, and then he fights the robot, and it can bust right through his webbing, right?
Oh, he figures out how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's really smart, and it's kind of cool. If it looked nicer, it would have been a better villain. It's perfect, except that it's absurd.
It's okay for a one-off. I'm glad it's a one-off. Yeah, I would have liked to have had a villain, but you can't say, the fight was interrupted by the Vulture attacking the high school. That's kind of dumb,
Right.
So this works.
Yeah, I don't know. Why didn't Spider ever lead him to the stairs?
Oh yeah, it's like. How do you get away from a Dalek? Just go up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Except they can, years later they with Daleks they could figure out how to get upstairs. But
yeah, so let's see. How does he figure out?
I think he says he lost the paper in all the excitement or whatever.
Right. Oh, he said, I just realized, Flash, you were not around when the fighting was going on with Spider-Man, so you must be really Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Flash
kind of gets some comeuppance.
Yeah,
because Flash was out cold in the locker room while the robot was on the rampage because everybody was scared or whatever. So
yeah.
I
don't know. I thought the ending was kind of cool.
Yeah. Boy, we got another one of these stupid Human Torch stories.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
I don't like these Human Torch solo stories. I'm like, I get that Marvel Tales or whatever, they want to have an anthology of all these other stories. Like, We couldn't have had Captain America. We couldn't have had Daredevil. We got this. But anyway, we'll talk about it. We've got Prisoner of the Fifth Dimension from from Strange Tales number 103, written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Jack Kirby and Dick Ayers. And as Prisoners of the Fifth Dimension, unfortunately, Mr. Mxyzptlk is not in this story.
That would be a great story.
Yeah, we should write that story.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Too bad we couldn't draw it, but
well, we could still script it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh.
So what's going on? I haven't read this in a while.
These houses are sinking in the swampland, and they can't figure out why. So Johnny Storm comes out, and somebody's zapping the ground and making the houses sink.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's these jerks from the Fifth Dimension.
Yep. Yeah. Sort of. And they're singing "This is the Age of Aquarius" and all that stuff.
Are they? No, they're not.
You never heard the Fifth Dimension? That's
the band?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Just kidding.
Okay.
They don't actually sing the song. I wonder if they got the name from this. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows? So they go to the Fifth Dimension, and it's pretty cool, neato. I love futuristic societies.
So why were the Fifth Dimension people like making the houses sink?
They wanted people to get away from there. That's when they're portals.
Oh, okay. Were they planning an invasion of Earth or something?
Yeah, they always are. Man, they have some really cool tanks. It's awesome looking.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet. And there's a pretty girl who's like the queen or princess of the land, and Johnny says, "I'll come back and visit," and of course he doesn't.
Yeah.
If I went to another dimension and there was like some babes that were all over me, I'd just stay. I'm like, yeah, they can be the Fantastic Three, you know.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Man, I would like to go home. No, I don't want to be here in this futuristic society where there's tons of wonders. And, and I could write a book, and then I say, I might want to visit good old 3 dimension and come back and become super rich with all the stuff you can find out.
Yeah.
Just writing a book would be,
Yeah, there's all kinds of just people. Well, got to get back. I think this story would be great as a standard science fiction story, but it's made lame by taking a generic science fiction story and putting a superhero in it.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. Because a superhero, you could have a standard superhero story that's, that's cool, and you could have just a science fiction story, but somehow the blending, at least in this case, it's just meh.
Yeah.
So what do we have next? We got more Thor, right?
Yeah, he's been captured by the commies.
Oh yeah, what's the story? Hang on, it's Thor is Prisoner of the Reds, and this is from Journey into Mystery, number 87, written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Jack Kirby and Darlin Dick Ayers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I thought it was funny that Thor got captured by the Reds.
I thought so too. Yeah.
It wouldn't. This is strange bedfellows kind of thing. I mean, like really. What I do like is that the commies managed to capture Thor, and he just turns back to Don Blake and slips out of the chains that he's in, and
gets his hammer back and starts walloping people.
Yeah, and I think they've seen that done with the Hulk too.
Mm-hmm.
But
actually, I think we read that.
I'm sure we did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did. That was that Hulk with Dr. Druid story.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he beats the commies.
Yeah. Good. Okay, we got the Wonderful Wasp.
Yeah, and it's weird. There's these. She's doing a Tales from the Crypt kind of like hosting a story, telling stories.
Thing to do.
Yeah, and it's not good like Tales from the Crypt. This is stupid, but. Anyway, this story is Somewhere Waits a Wobum from Tales to Astonish, number 51.
Wobow.
But I said Wobum.
Wobow. I said Wobum.
Wobum, Wobow. It's a made-up word, so you can say it however.
Yeah.
So
anyway. It's a palindrome.
Oh, yes. Okay. But anyway, it's written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Larry Lieber and George Bell.
Oh, okay. We got this Rack Morgan, which is a great name.
Rack Morgan, yeah.
He's a space trucker, and
Let's go space trucking.
Yeah.
Remember that Deep Purple song?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I had the album one time. And he knocks this guy out with knockout drops to get this great space run, and he goes by this planet where he's not supposed to go to because of the Wabbaos. And
but the planet's got all this gold, and he's like, suckers, I'm gonna steal this gold, and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna be rich.
Yep. And unfortunately, the gold is the Wabbaos' disguise.
And so they eat him and kill him or whatever, and so he dies or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice story for the whole family.
Yeah. Yeah, pointless. I don't know.
So this is great. We've got another Ant-Man story. It's called The Day Ant-Man Failed, from Tales to Astonish number 40, written by Stan Lee and Larry Lieber, with art by Jack Kirby and inked by Saul Brodsky.
A good story, actually.
I like this. This was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I like these old Ant-Man stories.
Yeah, okay. There's this guy. Somebody's ripping off armored trucks.
Yeah.
And oh man, Ant-Man hears about it because the ants overhear the president of the company complaining about it.
So he goes and visits the guy.
Yeah, that's what they did before Craigslist.
Yeah.
Ants.
Yeah.
So he shows up. The guy's talking about him. Tells him what the problem is, and. Oh, we notice these Peruvian Inca artwork in his. This is really important.
I don't know why, but yeah. You wouldn't think, like, okay, you just got stuff in your place. But anyway.
So they set up a trap that they were going to. Ant-Man was going to be with this armored car and going to entrap the robbers.
Okay.
And then Ant-Man gets appendicitis, so they had to go on anyway.
Yeah.
So the guy in a fairly cool-looking mask.
Yeah.
Stops him. And Ant-Man, he fooled him. He's not got appendicitis.
But he wanted to make sure that nobody knew that he was.
Yeah. He chased him in his toy airplane. That was great.
Yeah, he wound up the rubber band and stuff, right?
I guess.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. But yeah, I forgot about that part.
So he's fighting them, and he goes into the engine compartment. And the villain does a great thing. He starts blowing the horn, which is brilliant. It's very clever because it's going to, that's going to be really loud if you're in the engine.
Right.
Actually, I did that to a buddy of mine. I was looking for an engine, this 1957 Chevy, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not 57. But, so hey, I wanted the horn to work, so I forgot he was looking under the hood. And I would thump as his head hit the. He said the blast from the horn parted his hair. Oh man, he was angry, but he was laughing too because it was funny.
That's a good story. So what happens with Ant-Man here?
He sends the ants and they change the channel. Oh, they turn on the windshield wipers, and that destroys the guy's. Why does that help? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know why.
But anyway, it maybe distracts him or whatever. Anyway, Ant-Man unmasks the guy, and it's the president of the bank company, and he was ripping off his own company and then getting the insurance money from the National Trust or whatever, so he could just get all this dough.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Now, this is okay. Now, it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. But now here's the great thing.
Okay, you love this.
Oh, man. We have
6 issues.
6 issues. Man, I can't even count that high.
Of the Secret Society of Supervillains.
It's wonderful. It's one of the best comic book writing I've ever read.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know, it's just interesting. You didn't know where it was going. It wasn't like they meet a bad guy. Your regular superhero meets a bad guy, and then he gets in trouble, then he gets on his way out, and that's it. Or, you can see where they're going, but I had no idea what was going to happen. So, pretty cool. Although, I wish there were some Batman villains in this, or somebody. It's a society made up of supervillains. Some of them aren't that super, but You got Cold Man and Mirror Man.
Captain Cold and the Mirror Master.
Yeah, Cold. Well, he's always cold. Give him a blanket, somebody.
So let me get
Cold.
started. We've got the Secret Society of Supervillains #1. The story is Attend or Die, written by Jerry Conway, with art by Pablo Marcos and Bob Smith.
Yeah, and we don't occasionally see a superhero, but mostly we see bad guys.
Yeah.
And it gives them more time to flesh out their characters, like General Grodd. Well, not General Grodd. It's
Gorilla Grodd.
Gorilla. There's a General Grodd.
There's a General Zod.
No. It's in the universe or something like that. It really exists. I'm not,
And what is this from?
it's from the comics. There's a
What comics?
DC Comics. Let's not go any further because I can't remember. I've read about it though. But there's
General Grodd.
or I think that was his name. So
Okay.
I think he's a superhero in that world or something like that. That's kind of fun.
Okay.
All right.
All
right. So Grodd.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
And Gorilla Grodd is.
I think maybe you dreamed that.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That would be a great dream, though. I never liked him until now. He had more stuff to talk about, and mainly he was just breaking out a person and saying what he's going to do to the hero, and then getting defeated. But this one, I don't know. He fleshed him out. He was an interesting character.
I'm glad you like this. I mean, I think it's a great concept, and I enjoy the story and the plot of this. I think there are times in this series that it's really poorly executed and really sloppily done, especially the art. But it's really cool. We get Copperhead, and we've got Sinestro.
And Copperhead's got the worst hat in the world. Yeah, Sinestro is good. This is the first Sinestro I've ever read.
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We got the new Star Sapphire. It's not.
Who is the Superman of the group? She gets most of the people out of trouble.
Oh, okay. She's the powerhouse of this group.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. And who else is in this? We've got the
looks good and pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, but this is not Carol Ferris. It's some other chick. And so we've got all these cats. We've got Captain Boomerang. We've got the Wizard, the Shadow Thief, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And they meet some mysterious guy is making a
Secret Society of Supervillains, and as soon as they're gathered, they get attacked by the Justice League. What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so they turn out just to be robots, and it was a test.
One of the villains was saying, "Oh, they're kind of quiet. Usually they're jibber jabbering or something."
Yeah, and then they beat them pretty easy, and it turns out they were robots. So, and then there's Manhunter, who is he's actually a superhero, but they don't know that.
Mm-hmm. They think he's a bad guy because the other androids are bad.
Yeah, well, and he's not an android. He says he is the clone of the hero Manhunter, but I'm evil. Don't worry, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a lie.
Yeah. So they're supposed to prove that they're really good, good evil guys.
Yeah, they're good villains. They're quality.
Yeah.
So Grodd and Copperhead go after some ball of uranium or something.
In a lighthouse of all places. So
hey, whatever. It's a comic book. Remember?
Right.
Yeah, but Copperhead kind of screws up, and he loses the uranium, and he gets shot, and Grodd leaves him.
Yeah, it's kind of cold.
Yeah. So that's the end of the first issue, and we do have #2. It's called No Man Shall I Master, which is odd titled, but anyway, it's written by Jerry Conway and David Anthony Kraft, with art by Pablo Marcos and Robert Smith, not the Robert Smith from The Cure.
All right.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. Captain Comet comes back to Earth after 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's wearing
1950s clothes.
Yeah.
Captain Comet was a minor superhero in the 1950s, and this is the point that DC brought him back.
Yeah, and he notices the fashion change, which is kind of cool. Men don't wear hats anymore. Women don't wear skirts.
Yeah.
Clothes seem tighter somehow, more casual, and the colors.
Yeah. But right away he runs into who we've got, Grodd and Jack Jack from the Royal Flush Gang in battle with Green Lantern.
Yeah, I never would have liked that guy.
Who?
Jack or the
From the Royal Flush Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, that's a little bit too goofy.
Yeah.
But Green Lantern's chasing him, and Captain Comet goes after Green Lantern because he's picking on these poor villains.
Yeah, well, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know Green Lantern. He's been away from Earth for years.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain Comet, it's weird. He's a mutant, and he was like supposed to be like the future of human evolution, and he was, as a fluke, was just born like way too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Captain Comet gets tricked into joining the secret society of supervillains.
Right. And then he goes back. He had a family, and they died, and so he goes back to the graveyard, and Manhunter's there, explaining to him that, yeah, these guys are evil. So
it's like, well, I knew they were bad guys. I'm letting them think that they're tricking me, so I can, bust them up. And then Mantis, who was one of Darkseid's minions, shows up because he finds out that they're actually betraying Darkseid, who was bringing the secret society together. In Metropolis he had Intergang, and then I think this is in San Francisco or L.A., he was putting the secret society together as another front against New Genesis. And we do see Darkseid in this.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and
we get to see Mantis and I think some parademons, fight with Captain Cold and Star Sapphire. It's pretty sweet.
I read that there is in this magazine, that there is another version of Volume 1 with different villains, and I could not find any information about it on Google. So.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the first I've heard of it. Okay.
Well, it's in here. So,
okay, let me take a look at it.
No.
What?
Take a break.
Okay. All right, so I think what you were referring to earlier, we just took a little break, was there's an ad or a blurb in the back of one of these issues that mentions that in the Amazing World of DC Comics number 11, you can take a look at some kind of prototype sketches or whatever, or of concept art or whatever of what this book was going to be.
I'd love to see who else they thought about.
Well, I think that material might be in the trade paperbacks. There's 2 volumes of Secret Society of Supervillains. It just came out this year.
Oh.
And, I've been kind of, eyeballing those, so I might get them.
Okay, I want to borrow them.
If I get them, I will lend them to you, for sure.
I don't know why I like these. Well, they're so different. They're looking at villains, and they want money and all this stuff, but they got some good to them as well, because they don't want to serve Darkseid, who is Satan. Basically,
yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing about, especially, members of the Flash's Rogues Gallery that are in the Secret Society, except for Grodd. He's pretty evil, but
even he has some qualities.
He's kind of, tamed a bit, for the no pun intended, for this, but...
he hates being called a monkey.
Oh, yeah, well...
it gets on his fighting side.
Yeah. But I don't know, Captain Cold and Mirror Master and those guys, they're not murderers. They just want to get money, and fight the Flash. It's kind of a game with them. So, but anyway, we can move on. We've got a few more issues of this to talk about.
Yeah.
Secret Society of Supervillains number 4, When Thieves Fall Out, written by David Anthony Kraft, with art by Pablo Marcos, Ernie Chan, and Vince Coletta.
Yeah, let's see. I'm lost my notes here, but it's pretty cool what does happen in this.
So, they're infighting. The Wizard is trying to seize power in the group, and Sinestro, I think, cuts out. He's to hell with this.
Wizard is pretty darn powerful in this. So he is kicking butt and taking names.
Yeah, and remember, he journeyed from Earth 2 to Earth 1 to be a part of this.
Which is an important plot point later on.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. And we'll get into that. But the Manhunter is still kind of putting up the ruse that he's a villain, and he's cool with all these guys. And what else is going on?
Yeah. You know, Manhunter would be a good thing for a good name for a girl villain.
Yeah, it would be.
But we have a Twinkie alert.
Oh, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Aquaman.
And apparently Atlantis does not know the goodness that is in Twinkies. They've never heard of Twinkies.
Yeah.
Barbarians.
But they must love the spongy, moist goodness of Twinkie cakes.
With cream filling, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah, so that's about it for Twinkies.
Okay. So
everybody's happy. Yeah.
Oh, Green Lantern's in this story too, this issue. Mm-hmm. So he meets this Star Sapphire and realizes it's not Carol.
Right.
And then he's got to fight Mantis, who is the energy vampire, and he's just sucking up all his Green Lantern ring energy or whatever.
He sucked up all of it.
And then he thinks he's going to go and beat Darkseid like a fool. So you don't turn against Darkseid. So also there's a guy who's trying to kind of to kind of help in the secret society. It's this guy Funky Flashman, who's kind of a con artist, and you know who he's based on.
Yes, I do.
Please enlighten us.
He's based on 2.
What?
Yes.
Well, I know. I only know him as being based on Stan Lee.
Yeah. It's Jack Kirby's vengeance against Stan Lee.
Yeah.
And but the name Flashman is from the Flashman series.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What is Donald Fraser?
Right, but what is the connection between that? Like,
I couldn't find a direct connection, but the idea that someone uses an obscure name like Flashman when they were, and this was after a movie came out, and they were fairly popular novels.
There's a movie based on the Flashman books?
Yeah. Royal Flash. And I think there might be another one. But
okay.
Malcolm McDowell. I mean, fairly famous.
Malcolm McDowell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Well, now I might have to see it. I love him.
But Flashman in the books, which is a wonderful series, is this cowardly, lecherous, nasty, bullying guy. So,
now, is that the book about the Cossack? Like of the steps that you lent me?
No. Yeah. Although those are the...
You lent me both of those, and I haven't read them.
It's Robert E. Howard Conan stories.
Cool.
So, and Flashman is from this book called Tom Brown's School Days. Was written about rugby school and by a reformer, and one of the characters was this villainous, lying, cowardly bully Flashman. Jordan McDonald Fraser in 1968 makes him the hero, quotation marks, this series of a series of books where he puts him in every disaster, military disaster in the 19th century. He's in charge of Light Brigade. He's with John Brown at Harper's Ferry. He's at Little Bighorn. He's at the first Afghanistan War. All kinds of stuff, and he runs away at the first.
They say he ran away. Not a charge was true.
The world would never know.
Marked with a coward shame, branded.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I love that.
A tangent of a tangent. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a really big insult.
Okay.
And so Flashman here, Funky Flashman,
he's playing with fire, trying to manipulate these supervillains.
Yeah, he is. He has no superpowers at all. He's just persuasive and
which he is persuasive.
He uses his butler. No, not a butler, but somebody else
as a footstool. Yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
and the butler is. Somebody based on somebody too, and people say that's unfair. It's House Roy and his.
Oh, is it House Roy? It's based on Roy Thomas. Yeah, yeah. I think that's really unfair. It's like, okay, I understand Jack Kirby having a beef with with Stan, but I don't know what Roy Thomas could have done.
And
really,
when I was looking at the web, people kind of that's kind of cruel, but he may have done something.
I mean, I think at the time, because Roy Thomas became the protege to Stan. He was kind of like handed the keys of the kingdom. He became the editor in chief.
He may have been the hatchet man.
Maybe. Or something. But I think Roy Thomas is. I mean, because the stories that are written by Stan Lee, it's like, well, did he really write those? But Roy Thomas is probably my favorite comic book writer ever. Right. I love anything he's written. Like, I've never read a crappy Roy Thomas story.
Knows? He may have stolen a girl. Or something that we don't know and never will know.
Yeah.
And
one of the greatest comics historians, period.
Is he?
Yeah.
But,
or historians, for that matter. He's really excellent.
There's a saying, we allow our friends one great fault.
Right.
And we allow our heroes one great fault. And Jack Kirby's a hero of mine.
Yeah.
And if he went too far in this, it's not nice, but
what can you do?
Yeah.
When Jack Kirby teamed up with Steve Gerber to do Destroyer Duck, which is a minor book of the 80s, but it was kind of like it was kind of to be a slap in the face of Marvel Comics for Steve Gerber's like kind of conflict over Howard the Duck and different things, and of course Jack Kirby's issues with Marvel. There were characters in that were definitely jabs at people at Marvel, like people that were characters that were based on Jim Shooter and different things like that. But I don't know. I don't know tons about that one, but go ahead.
Yeah. Man, Funky Flashman's a mean, nasty guy. So, Star Sapphire, easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Star Sapphire thinks that she's gotten a superhero, Green Lantern, but it was not Green Lantern.
No.
It is. What's his name?
Oh, it's Calabac, the Cruel.
Yeah. And he's mean and nasty.
Yeah, he is the son of Darkseid.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he fights Grodd, and it's awesome. Oh, because Darkseid's trying to get these guys for rebelling against him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. He's a bad guy, but then they're bad guys, but they're on the lam from Darkseid and the minions of his whole planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The stakes are pretty high in this book.
Darkseid over here is Mantis talking crap.
Yeah.
And Mantis has all the
Green Lantern power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does nothing to Darkseid.
Right.
Because I don't think he doesn't know how to use Green Lantern power.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, and as the Grodd and Calabac's fight rages on throughout pretty much the rest of this book, it's just pretty sweet.
Yeah, and Grodd cheats, which is funny.
Of course.
It's kind of cool because good guys never cheat.
Right.
And Grodd says, I give up, and then he
throws a rock at him and knocks out Calabac. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, so I think Darkseid was getting ready to destroy Mantis with the Omega Beams, but he decides not to or something. Oh no, he's gonna, because here comes the Black Racer. And in the world of the New Gods, the Black Racer is the emissary of death. He's like Charon.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when you're gonna die, the Black Racer comes and like, oh crap, I'm gonna die because the Black Racer's here. That's kind of how that works.
Yeah. He's on water skis snow skis.
And ski poles with a knight's helmet and a cape. I know he looks stupid. But when Jack Kirby drew him, he didn't look that stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it looks kind of Kirby-esque there, actually.
Yeah, I think they're trying really hard to copy his designs, but the art's just really fallen flat on this book.
Yeah,
it's not too happening. It's DC really struggled in the 70s. They had some great ideas, and a lot of them just didn't get executed well. But then they came back really strong in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got here. Fast forward a bunch of issues to Secret Society of Supervillains number 8, and the story is "Let the Villain Fit the Crime," written by Jerry Conway. with art by Rich Buckler and Bob Layton. And this is probably the best drawn issue because Rich Buckler is really good.
And he draws them very Stan Lee like.
Oh yeah, he does an excellent likeness of Flashman as Stan Lee. It's pretty uncanny actually. Mm-hmm. So Captain Comet is back and he's just mad and he's out to fight villains. Copperhead and the Wizard are fighting, and
Copperhead has a stupid costume. Oh, I like this costume except for this helmet is too big.
Yeah. This Funky Flashman in this looks exactly like Stan Lee did in the 70s. Mm-hmm. It's
dresses like him too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they moved to another building because they had to.
Right, because of Darkseid pursuing them. I think that plot line is kind of over at this point. But
they always have these lovely diagrams of their hideouts,
like a cross section. Yeah. Oh, that's terrific.
Does Superman start that?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed them.
Yeah, although it probably really started in Batman, probably doing that of the Batcave or,
maybe.
But Funky Flashman gets the idea of, hey, why not having a villain for hire organization? Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty good plan.
Yeah, it is,
because he's going to get a lot of money out of it and start a criminal empire.
Yeah, how'd you get the money for cards? To have business cards made up isn't that expensive.
Right.
What are they? Are they living hand to mouth?
Maybe, I don't know. If they're on the lam, I guess it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's not like Darkseid has otherworldly powers, so it's not like he's going to be able to freeze their assets. But I mean, if the authorities are after them and know about their schemes and stuff, maybe I don't know. We missed like 4 issues, so it's difficult to say. But we got Grodd and Copperhead, and the Trickster shows up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it gets complicated.
Doesn't the Reverse Flash in this also?
Yeah, and the Little Flash guy, Wally.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Kid Flash.
Yeah.
Little Flash.
Oh, with Flashman. No one made the.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking after this. It's not a sorcerer's stone. Some kind of rock that came from the.
It's the MacGuffin.
Yeah, but it's powerful, and it's kind of like the Green Lantern's ring.
Okay. Now, who has got this? The Wizard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, someone else gets it.
Who is it? I haven't read this in a few weeks. I can't remember.
Oh, gosh. It's a bunch of goobers.
Is
some
it
bad guys?
Okay, maybe it's nobody of name. I was thinking like, who is it? Is it Vandal Savage or somebody? But it's nobody. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that would be a great villain to have in this book. Vandal Savage.
Yeah, this would make a great movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to be HBO or something because
you need the money, the budget.
Well, maybe not. I'm trying to think because the villains are winning, or the bad guys win occasionally here, which is also a refreshing breath of air.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be done. I mean, if you can have Mad Men be a hit show, everybody's so sleazy, jerk, backstabbing on that show,
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't have to be good guys to be like on a hit TV show. So, the biggest show in the past couple of years was a show about people who cooked meth, for crying out loud.
That's true. Yeah.
So, bank robbing and typical supervillain type of stuff, that's nothing.
Mm-hmm. It would be expensive to do, but they don't. Their superpowers aren't that showy.
Right. So anyway, what's going on in the story? Kid Flash and Captain Comet have teamed up, and they're going after the Secret Society. They're fighting Copperhead and Gorilla Grodd. I see.
Yeah, and Copperhead's a pretty good fighter.
Yeah, I like how he can kind of stretch himself up around stuff like a snake.
And Captain Comet gives Gorilla Grodd this huge punch, and it doesn't do anything. And that's a bad feeling.
Yeah, and Grodd breaks out his mental powers, which he hasn't used a whole lot in this series. And I can't remember what he does, but
he tries to. He's zapping him, and then Captain Comet does this judo thing with his brain.
Weird.
Yeah, they don't tell you how it does it, but it works. So
okay.
So they make it out, and whatever they're looking for is stolen.
Okay.
So the other MacGuffin, there's about 2 or 3 MacGuffins.
Sure. So we got to move forward, and we got our last 2 issues that we have of this series. Secret Society of Supervillains number 12. The story is The Plunder Plan, written by Jerry Conway, with art by Mike Vosberg and Bob McLeod. And now the Wizard has got a cool new costume, and he's gotten more powerful. And he and new Secret Society members, the Floronic Man, and
I didn't notice that.
Well, they call him the Plant Master at this. Later, he changed his name to Floronic Man. And is that Copperhead?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, they're going into loans places called Black Hand Loans.
And Black Hand is in this story, right? The villain.
Oh, a Black Hand is reference to the Mafia.
Okay, well, okay. Maybe I was wrong, but that's right. And Blockbuster is in this as well. He's in... So anyway, Captain Comet is alone and trying to track down the supervillains.
Yeah. And he goes home and he finds this girl who's one of his neighbors in his bed.
Yeah.
And they get it on.
Well, good job, Captain Comet.
You see them kissing, and then the next panel is the moon.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you what happened. But I think that she's Star Sapphire.
Oh, I think that's right. So, hey, well, good for Captain Comet, though. So we go over to head of Gotham City. The Plant Master breaks into the Wayne Foundation building and fights Robin.
Yeah, and who are they getting? They're getting the reason Batman's not there.
Yeah,
he's on duty.
The Watchtower, he's got monitor duty.
Yeah, and sorry, why don't they hire a secretary? For crying out loud!
The Justice League?
Yeah.
Well, somebody would have to live there 24 all the time to be on monitor duty.
Or hire 10 of them and have them do shifts.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just have Snapper Carr there or something doing it. But whatever, it's a reason to have somebody not there all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or to, so anyway, yeah, Blockbuster and Plant Master kick the crap out of Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And Blockbuster hates Batman. He wants to kill Batman. So that's how the Wizard is able to manipulate him. He just tells everybody, oh, that guy's a friend of Batman. And then Blockbuster beats him up.
Yep. Pretty cool.
That's right. And now we've got the Reverse Flash in here, too. And so...
It's Professor Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's an
evil guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's kissing Sapphire's hand. Sapphire's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plant Guy's kind of mean.
Yeah.
Oh, you see the TV posters?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Linda Carter, that's a comic book reference there.
Sure. The advertisements in old comic books, that's half the fun, I think.
Mm-hmm. John Travolta when he was a teenage heartthrob.
And on that stupid show.
Oh, man.
But,
Wizard is talking about Earth 1.
Earth 2, which is where
Earth 2, Earth 2. Okay. Man, I get my Earths mixed up. So we're on Earth Prime, right?
You and I are on Earth Prime, correct.
Darn. We could be on Earth 1 or Earth 2. Be kind of cool.
Yes, it would.
But back there, he was talking about how they lost all the time. And the reason
the Injustice Society.
Yeah. And his reasoning was they just expected to lose. Which I thought was a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's...
Yeah, and we do get a nice little flashback. We see some of his evil cohorts. We get the Fiddler and Icicle and looks like the Thinker.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so they want to go back there.
Yeah, they want to go back to Earth 1.
Take his evil buddies.
Yeah. So they find a way to kind of travel to another Earth, but they end up on the wrong Earth.
Yeah. Well, Star Sapphire doesn't want to go.
Yeah, so the Wizard knocks her out, and they just drag her along.
Yeah, that may not be a good idea. But
no,
Star Sapphire is an important character, though.
Is it revealed at the end of this issue where they end up, or is it in the
next one?
The next issue.
One Earth too many.
Yes, yes, that's the story. And as they're traveling, they travel in Secret Society of Supervillains number 13. written by Jerry Conway with art by Mike Fosberg and Bob Smith. They end up on Earth 3, the home of the crime syndicate. And they immediately get into fisticuffs with Superwoman and Power Ring and Johnny Quick.
Yep.
And boy, this is awesome. I mean, that's my favorite team of supervillains, I think, the crime syndicate.
Yeah, I forgot Reverse Flash or Professor's whatever. He knocks out Superwoman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Blockbuster beats up the Green Lantern.
Yeah, Power Ring.
Power Ring.
And so they realize they're on the wrong Earth, and they're, well, crap, that was kind of a one-way trip. So they have to steal their like objects of power from the crime syndicate and go to like different places on Earth 3 to kind of create a nexus or a portal or something to travel to the Earth they did want to go to.
Right.
And so that's kind of what all happens. So they end up like challenging the crime syndicate to a fight. And so they're going to trap them and trick them and, you know, steal Power Ring or her lasso or Johnny Quick's helmet. That kind of stuff.
Yep.
And that's kind of how it plays out.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going to happen. But, man, Blockbuster takes this huge rock and throws it on Superwoman and knocks the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Man, this is excellent. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed these.
Well, I'm getting the right idea. So in the crime syndicate, they think they come to Earth 1 to get revenge on those guys. And then Captain Comet is he's confronted by the crime syndicate. And that's the end of this issue.
Yeah.
So I do want to read this series in its entirety. I think it only ran 16 issues.
Really?
And it was canceled abruptly, part of the DC implosion. But yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that the Crisis was coming soon. I got that impression. Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Well, that wouldn't be until 1985.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got hints of it that they... I don't know. I just got the feeling they were tired of it or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time that... like, you know, when the Justice League or Justice Society would have a team-up story and journey, you know, between the Earths, every one of those stories was, like, usually called Crisis in something.
Yeah.
And then when they did Crisis on Infinite Earths, it was kind of like, oh, the end of these multiverse stories and stuff, which is a shame because those were wonderful.
Yeah, I think they're fun.
Yeah.
And it gives them a tabula rasa.
Oh, yeah.
To do something. And instead, you know, they could just send Superman there, and you don't have to worry about who his buddies are and who he fought, because we could just have a whole new battle, you know.
Yeah. I think the multiverse was one of the best things that DC ever did. It's what made the Silver and Bronze Age so much fun, or one of the things. So, but yeah. What did we learn today, Jeff?
Super villains are super fun.
Yay! So, yeah, anything else? Any other final thoughts?
I don't know. They're just wonderful. So you're looking forward to Ant-Man?
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun movie.
There's an article.
I'm way more looking forward to the new Captain America movie. That's going to be great. So
I just hope they don't screw the pooch from the movie, The Right Stuff, making a big mistake. So,
yeah. Okay.
And I don't know. I enjoyed almost 90% of all the superhero movies so far. Oh, Ant-Man, I'm kind of surprised. There's an article on Cracked about 6 superheroes should have been done before.
I saw that, and I thought it was a crap article. The only one that they got right was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Everyone else on the list was really obscure, and I'm like, that person couldn't carry a movie.
Yeah, actually, now I come to think of it,
there was somebody on there that I didn't even know. I was like, what? Who the hell was that?
Yeah, I didn't know any of them except Wonder Woman, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm the Secret Society.
Yeah.
That'd make a great movie or something. I don't know.
That'd be
good,
great.
Cool villains.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right, I think that's the show. That'll wrap it up for this week. just a reminder, now you can find Comic Reflections on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podcast Garden. And we are still available on and members of the Rhymes with Geek podcast network. You can check us and lots of other shows out at rhymeswithgeek.com.